Hey everyone, Zach with IT Career Questions, and today I'm doing an Ask Me Anything.
3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Today I have a question from Raven Thor X, and hopefully that's how you pronounce it. Looks like that's how you pronounce it. I have to read this off of the screen, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'll put a screenshot up. You guys can read the question right here, and I'll kind of go and read each one and answer it, just so we can be on the same page and not trying to jump all over the place. So the first one is, how much downtime do you have on your job? And the answer is, I couldn't really give you a solid answer. There is downtime though. Like there is, little bits and periods of time where I'm not really, in the middle of anything. I'm not, answering the phone. I'm not in the middle of a project. And we have time to kind of talk with each other. We have time to joke around with each other. And that is very productive to the workday. And it may sound counterproductive, but having that type of atmosphere in a job makes it so much more enjoyable for the work environment. You have no idea. When you are just strictly 24/7 working, closing tickets, answering phones, staying completely 100% on task, it makes a miserable day. So having a few minutes here and there to just kind of take a step back from whatever project, whatever task that you're working on, and say, and you guys, I don't know if a lot of you know that I work with PC addicts. He's about 10 feet away from me. I can say, hey, Chris, shut your face. And we can just start a little conversation. We talk a lot about photography at work. So, every, hour or so, we just take a little, a few minutes, and we can just take a step back. We can just unwind for a minute, because we have to recycle everything that's going on in our heads sometimes and just get a refreshing view of what our projects are, what we're currently doing. And that's not every day. During that 8 hours in a workday, we could just be going nonstop. It's really hard, and it's going to be different from every work environment that you go to. And so my workday, that's kind of how it's like, downtime, it's there. It's definitely here and there, and I need it. All of us need it, because working for a hospital can get very stressful. It gets very intense. So I love that downtime, and it's not long downtime. It's a couple minutes here or there. We need that. How often are people having issues with their systems? Well, I'm going to answer that one before I go on to the next one. So we have about 1,500 users in our system, give or take a few hundred. Probably there's more. There's probably roughly about 1,700 users total, with consultants and things like that, and just other people off-site and things like that. Plus about another 800 technology devices in our environment, plus about 180 servers or so. So that's all of the things that we service, iPads. Now we have a lot of iPads. There's about 70 iPads in our environment. That's what I manage. The days are crazy. We sometimes, just our help desk number. We have one help desk line that everybody's supposed to call. And I say supposed to call because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to just call the help desk line. We average, I believe it's like 150 calls a day, somewhere around there, 150, 140 calls a day. And that's a pretty solid number, considering how small technically our hospital is and how small our team is. So that doesn't even include like the calls that I get directly or the calls that our other staff members in our department get. So how often are people having issues with their systems? It's all day. It's not necessarily an issue. They have a question. Something isn't, working the way that it's supposed to, but really, ideally, it's just they weren't maybe properly trained, and that may not necessarily reflect on us. It could be an application thing. There's just so many variables there, And a lot of times, like, I'll pick up the phone and it could just be like, all right, I'm just going to restart your computer. And you guys might laugh at that. And that honestly happens all the time. That happened today. I just rebooted the computer. The program worked. Fantastic. Moved on with that issue. Not a problem. So there's issues. Issues happen all the time. When you have that many users and that many devices, there's going to be things happening. There's an EMR system, electronic medical record system, and that has its own issues, and there's a lot of calls that come in with that. So, but me specifically, I'll move on to this next one. When people are not having issues with their systems, what do you do until someone does not? When somebody is not having issues, I have projects that I work on. I manage our mobile device management. I'm the administrator of that, so I take care of all of our mobile devices. So I'm making sure all of those are up to date, and everything's working smoothly with that. So that's like its own beast right there. I help manage our imaging system. That's MDT and Spec Ops. And I make sure that everything is moving smoothly there. So that a lot of times there's projects involved with that. Aside from that, we have tickets all the time. Like right now, I think in my queue, I have about 13 or 14 tickets that I have things to do. So there's lots of things always going on. There's lots of tickets always being added. And there's lots of projects going on. Aside from, the current project work that I have with like MDM, which is an ongoing project, I have servers that need to be built, virtual servers that I have to build for new systems that are coming in, for upgraded systems that we have to build. So we're waiting for our blade to be finished so I can build those servers, and then that's what's on my project list. So there's always something going on. There's always something to keep me busy, right? And when I don't really necessarily have something to do, or I just kind of need to like take a step back away from whatever projects or tickets that I have to do, I go through everybody else's tickets. I will literally go through every single person's tickets in our department, and I will see if I can close out one of their tickets. I'll call up, whatever ticket they have, try to close it out, because that's just what I do. I like to try to service as much as I possibly can whenever I can. So that's kind of what I do to keep myself a little bit busy there. So moving on, it says, are tasks assigned by a supervisor? Do you come up with them on your own? Both. So supervisor will assign tasks sometimes depending on what the issue is. A lot of times tickets come in. We have help desk staff that assigns that. That's our level 1 staff. They assign all of our tickets to pretty much all of our staff. And then, like I said, if there's like a more crucial thing or a project, that's our director that assigns everything. And then if I'm on the phone with somebody or I think of something, I will create my own ticket, create my own tasks for it, and things like that. So there's a lot of self-responsibility, self-accountability at my job. So that's something that actually comes with time, though, too. Working in IT, you get to know what needs to be done, how these things need to be done, and how to manage them. And that could be a video all on its own. All right, and then the last part says, if I come up with my tasks and tickets or whatever on my own, how do you determine what to do on tasks that would make me considered staying productive? I think I kind of answered that with everything that I've already said in this video. It's already gone on longer than I wanted it to. Hopefully I can trim it down a little bit. So I hope that answers the questions for you and answers questions for a lot of you guys on, how I stay productive, what I do kind of a little bit during the day, and how things kind of work at my job. So if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, hit me up in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, take it easy.